Welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Siblings. I'm your host, Araceli, and this is my co-host, Armando.
Hi guys, I'm Armando, and welcome to a new episode.
So, let's get started with Raw. So, Dean opens up the show, and Charlie comes out, and he interviews him, and he's letting him know, that if what McIntyre, Ziggler, and Strowman said last week about him not being a champion and about him being kind of like being pushed away from the Shield and him not getting the respect that he deserves, pretty much being in the Shield, and how the Shield needs him more than he needs them because he was successful in SmackDown by himself, right? And to make a long story short, Baron Corbin comes out and he's like, I'm going to give you 3 options, and this is going to prove your loyalty towards the Shield. And so he is like, the first option, you can face Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. Number 2, you can face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Or you can face Braun Strowman. And Armando, can you let them know what Dean Ambrose's choice was?
His choice was Baron Corbin, but Baron Corbin, being the acting general manager, said no, that wasn't going to happen, that Dean was trying to outsmart him. So he ends up facing Braun Strowman.
Basically, Baron Corbin made the choice for him. So the first match of the night was Dean Ambrose versus Braun Strowman. I thought this match was pretty good, even though Braun Strowman dominated the majority of this match. Obviously, when you put him up against somebody that's usually smaller than him, he usually just drags them around and is able to completely destroy their opponent, per se.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. A guy like you said, Strowman's size, it's going to completely dominate someone. But give props to Dean Ambrose because he was willing to face Strowman, and he did take it to him, even though he didn't beat him. He did take it to him.
Yeah, and the match was ended by disqualification because Roman Reigns then comes out, and when he came out, the ref rang the bell, and then it became one of those things where Seth Rollins comes out and they start taking it. Braun Strowman and then Ziggler and McIntyre come out again to the defense of Braun Strowman.
Yeah, to piggyback on the match a little bit, I thought it was great. Dean really, like I said earlier, did take it to him, used every move in the book to try to take down Strowman. Obviously, that did not work. But obviously, the difference here was the size and the power of Strowman, which...
But we gotta give it to Dean for being able to hang with the big guy like Braun Strowman. You know what I mean? And coming from a member of the Shield, he was able to go for a period of time without having anybody in his corner to come out and help him out.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first time we see this match. I'm not 100% sure. But again, something different, something new in Raw, which I really liked. And like I said, overall, the match was good.
And then Baron Corbin comes out and he's like, no, this is not going to end this way after the Shield was already in the ring. So then he puts Roman Reigns against Dolph Ziggler and he tells Seth that he's going to be facing McIntyre. So let's get into the Roman Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler match. I thought it was a pretty good match, honestly. Again, Dolph Ziggler has incredible matches no matter who you put him up against. And I feel like he really delivered in this match.
Yeah, like I said, we've been saying since the beginning, I've been a huge Dolph Ziggler fan just because of his performance in the ring every single night. And we saw it against Seth Rollins when they were feuding. He had incredible matches. This match wasn't the exception. Dolph Ziggler did a good job on carrying Roman Reigns in this match.
This was probably the match of the night, in my opinion. I feel like Roman really gave his all. And I do feel like you said, sometimes your opponent matters. Because you put Roman against somebody who's constantly delivering, the Roman match suddenly became 100% better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And not only that, but Dolph Ziggler's creativity on the ring. Always coming up with new moves, being a step ahead of his opponents, no matter who it is. And I think that's what makes the difference.
I have to agree with that. I have to completely agree with that. And let's get into Roman Reigns. I like what he's doing so far with his character, with the Shield, and with the Universal Championship. However, I do feel like the Shield reunion, as of right now, it isn't working. I feel like people aren't as interested in it as they were like maybe 2 months ago, just because it's becoming one of those things where every time you need backup for Roman, the Shield is always there, and it's something the fans can expect now. Whereas if you were to put him with 2 other individuals that you've never put him up against, I feel it would be more creative. People would be more into it.
Another thing too, I like what Roman tried to do before the match. We kind of skipped this a little bit. He tried to put the title on the line against Dolph Ziggler, but Baron Corbin was like, no, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to let you guys make the decisions. But following on what you said as far as the Shield, I think it's not working as it's supposed to be working, how we expected. It's just because they all get involved in each other's matches. You know, we saw it in the Dean Ambrose match that Roman got involved. And then
we've seen it basically in all the matches.
Yeah, in these feuds, you know, we've seen it all along, and I think that's what's not making it as interesting. You know, because at the end of the day, they're all having individual feuds. And
this feud has extended to 3 feuds all in one.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say, for example, the Dean match, right, against Braun Strowman. Roman interfered, Seth interferes, and then you're like, really? The match was great. I was really enjoying it, and the Shield comes out. Or vice versa. Like, let's say, I don't know, Seth is facing Ziggler or whatever, and the rest of the Shield members come out, and you're like, but I was enjoying that type of thing, you know? And at the same time, it's like, I don't feel like this reunion has been what the other ones have been.
Yeah, because you're not really seeing the Shield together. You're just seeing individual matches, but getting involved with each other.
And they still split, but come back when they have to come back as a Shield.
Yeah. So they really don't come out together as the trio. The Shield is just, they're there, but not at all there.
Okay. 3rd match of the night. Ruby Riott versus Ronda Rousey. I think this was the match that really took Ronda, and I know I said this with Alexa, but I changed my mind. I think this is a match that really took Ronda to her limit, and I feel like this was Ruby Riott's best match so far on the main roster.
Yeah, so she was called up from NXT. I have to agree with you. This was probably her best match she's had so far since she's been in the main roster. She's been proving herself week after week why she is the leader of the Riott Squad. And, I mean, don't be surprised if she starts getting a big push. I mean, she already is. But what she did with Ronda, taking her to the limit, was just unbelievable. Like, she's so talented.
Props to Ruby for hanging in there with Ronda Rousey. She didn't need any help. And, yeah, she ended up losing against Ronda. But at the end of the day, it's the performance that matters. It doesn't matter if you went in and lost. But if you went in there, gave it 100%, the fans enjoyed it, and it was something that you can go back to be like, wow, I really gave it 100%, then at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
And the fact that she carried the match was just great, because normally, you know, the champion either carries the match or, you know, but Ruby Riott did a great job carrying the match, and I think she's doing a great job being the leader, I think, of the Riott Squad. I think they put her as a leader for a reason. If she could carry the Riott Squad, I mean, she could carry a division, carry, you know, the Women's Championship in the future.
I think she did a great job just performing in general. And yes, she has been doing a fantastic job with the Riott Squad. For those of you that didn't watch, Liv Morgan was ringside. She didn't wrestle, but she was there. Obviously, Ronda was victorious. She did the armbar. She's obviously more powerful in a way, even though I feel like out of Ruby, Liv, and Sarah, Ruby is the powerhouse. But in this occasion, I feel like Ronda's power really helped her out.
Yeah, definitely the power and just the size. You look at Ruby Riott's size compared to Ronda. It's just, that was the difference. And on top of that, like we've been saying, Ronda's biggest advantage is she's got that UFC background, so she's very she's a submission specialist, so she could pretty much put you in a submission hold, and you could pretty much call
You're
it a
guaranteed
match.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ruby, props to her. She did a fantastic job, as we're saying. She completely, like, dominated Ronda. She took her to her extent, to her limit, you know. And the Bellas were ringside with Rousey. And again, Ruby had the Riot Squad then and there. I do want to see her get an even bigger push. I feel like this was the match that was going to demonstrate and it was going to showcase the talent that Ruby Riot is. And I feel like that's exactly what happened.
Keep in mind, so far, two things. One of Ronda's weaknesses that we've kind of noticed, and we already talked about it, and that she needs to improve, is she gets distracted easily.
She does. She really does. Someone moves outside of the ring and she immediately is on it, which is good because she's watching her back and she's defending, you know, herself. But it's a downfall because people are going to use that to her advantage. And I feel like if there's anybody that would be smart enough to figure out that that's her disadvantage, it would be either Ronda or it would be either Alexa, or Ruby Riot.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, and that may cost her, you know, probably not right now, but maybe in the future it might cost her, you know, her title or some of the matches, because in reality you need to be focused on your match and not get distracted with what's going on outside of the ring. The other thing too is she's not experienced as much in the ring, you know, so that may cost her too. But like I said, she's improving week by week.
Yeah, and I feel like you said earlier, Ruby did carry this match in a fantastic way. Props to her. Going up against somebody of that caliber is kind of, you know, you kind of go in there with, like, confidence, but at the same time, you're like, it's Ronda Rousey. This is the Raw Women's Champion. I have to prove myself, because if I don't, the whole universe is going to think something different of me.
And she did prove it. Another thing, too, I would like to see Ronda carry a little bit more of the matches, but that would come over time.
Obviously, everything takes time. The match she had at WrestleMania to where she is now is a major improvement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it has been. One thing that I did like about Ruby Riot and about her game plan is she focused on one part of the body, which was Ronda's head and shoulder. So she targeted that all match. Yeah, she wasn't successful, but I mean, just the fact that she was a step ahead of Ronda the whole time.
And that's how you beat the submission holders. You always stay a step ahead and you analyze and you study your opponent. And it looks like in this occasion, Ruby Riot did her homework and was like, okay, this is Ronda's point of weakness. And she knows Ronda gets distracted super easily. Hence, she got distracted by the Riot Squad. It happens at every single match. Ronda always gets distracted. And I know she's the target because she's the Raw Women's Champion, but she's going to have to learn how to control her not being aware of her surroundings. You know what I mean? It's like, focus on the match, do what you got to do, and if somebody comes at you, I know you can stand up and be successful regardless.
I feel she's not used to having so many people around her in the ring, because she's still probably in that UFC mode, because, you know, in UFC you're locked in the cage and there's nobody that can interfere. So I think she still has that mentality of, like, whatever happens outside, she has to look.
Well, yeah, but isn't it in the UFC you are locked inside of a cage and there's still people right outside of the cage?
Well, yeah,
it's the exact same thing.
What I'm saying is that she's afraid that someone's going to interfere. In UFC, you don't interfere because you have the cage.
I know how the UFC works, Armando, but regardless, it's like, it's the same thing. If I'm coming from the UFC and I'm like, okay, I have a cage, nobody's going to interfere, but there's still people basically at ringside right outside of the octagon that are right then and there. So it's the exact same thing. She just has to learn how to block it off and do what she used to do at the UFC. It's the same thing, because if you're about to be wrestling, right, and you have the Bellas at ringside with you, and, you know, your opponent has whoever, you're going to have to make sure that you're going to have to think in your mentality, hey, there's nobody there. And I know in the UFC it's different because nobody can interfere because they're surrounded by a cage, right? But there's still people there. Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
That's what I was trying to say, that in UFC, no other people could get involved. There's still going to be people around the cage, yeah. But she gets distracted because she's still in mentality that, oh, someone's gonna get involved, or she has to see what's gonna happen outside the ring.
Well, yeah, but like I said, it's the exact same thing. There's still people ringside regardless, and during a UFC match, she can't stand there and be like, okay, well, what's this person doing now? Well, no, it doesn't work like that, but I do understand your mentality and where you are coming from. Anyways, let's get into Bobby Roode versus Connor of the Ascension. I like how we're getting a lot more of the Ascension. And like I've said before, I never really realized that they were even in the Raw roster. I completely forgot they were there. And I'm glad they're finally using them. But I want to see where the storyline is going to go. Because right now, I feel like it's just been Bobby, the Ascension, Chad, the Ascension, and the feud isn't really going anywhere. It's not really progressing to any further means. You know what I mean?
I think it needs a little bit more of creativity. But one of the things that I really did like was that finally we got to see Bobby Roode in action in singles competition, which we didn't see for the past couple of weeks. He's been on Chad Gabriel's corner, supporting him, kind of mentoring like we've been saying.
It sucks because he was doing fantastic down in SmackDown. And then he came up to Raw and then everything just changed.
Yeah, I don't think that was a wise move. I see why they did it, but I mean, he really hasn't been as relevant as he's been in SmackDown. And he's just kind of like Finn Balor, just kind of floating there.
Again, guys, it's the little things that screw you over. He lost because of the Chad Gable distraction. And this is what's going to end up happening at the end of the day. This is what's going to screw them over. You know what I mean? It's the little things. And I get it. Chad was just trying to help. But it cost Bobby Roode the match.
Yeah, there's certain times of the match where you just have to let it flow and that you don't have to interfere. And I think he's trying to do too much for Bobby that at the end of the day it's going to end up costing him.
And like we've said, we feel like he's trying to steal Bobby Roode's spotlight and steal his shine.
Yeah, because when Bobby Roode came out or has come out to his entrance and does glorious, Chad Gabriel stands right in front of him. So it's like, he's trying to catch attention and like you said, the spotlight for Bobby Roode.
And again, it's going to be the small little things that screw them over. Like the Ascension, they don't have that problem. You know what I mean? They're at each other's corners. They know, hey, this is the way it's going to be. And they don't interfere in each other's matches. And they just let it flow. And I feel like that's something that a lot of tag teams just lack. Especially when they're just thrown together out there.
Yeah, and like you said, it's worked out for them that to the point that they've got 2 victories already. Especially Connor. He beat Chad Gabriel and now he beat Bobby Roode. So that's that on that match pretty much.
Okay, yeah, but then what happens next? Like, yeah, Connor and Victor have been more successful over Chad and Bobby Roode than Bobby and Chad have been over the Ascension. So then it's like, okay, what happens now? Do the Ascension go back to not doing anything? Does Bobby Roode and Chad Gable go back to not doing anything? I don't want that. I want solid, legit storytelling.
Yeah, and there's no story behind this. There's no, like I mentioned earlier, it's just a match that was randomly thrown out there and they're just trying to go with the flow and see what happens.
We'll keep an eye out on it. We'll see what they decide to do with it next week. Again, Super Showdown is on Saturday. We'll bring you guys coverage on that as well. But let's get into the next match, which is the B Team versus the Revival. The Revival, probably the best tag team that Raw has as of right now. The B Team, the former Raw Tag Team Champions, they really proved themselves during their title reign. The Revival hasn't really gotten the opportunity up until recently, but from the last couple of weeks that we've seen their matches, they've been absolutely incredible. I want to see them in the title picture again.
Yeah, I mean, they were close. They got the opportunity, but eventually it was taken away by Dolph Ziggler and McIntyre. Yeah, the B Team has proved themselves. that's why they were the champions. But they proved themselves with some wins, and they did have. Out of all those wins, not all of them were the best performance. But at the end of the day, what counts is the wins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I gotta give it props to the B team. I thought they were just gonna be completely forgotten. They used them on TV, thank God, because I do want to see more talent being showcased, especially on Raw. They have a 3-hour show and you see the same people.
Yeah, they just rotate them and
every single week.
And like you said, following back, we've been seeing the Ascension, which is good. We saw the B team come out again. So that's good that, at least they're rotating and they're trying to get some new matches, which is great.
AOP then comes out and completely just takes out the former Raw Tag Team Champions. AOP again trying to make a name for themselves. I think they did that last week when they faced the Shield. I think that's what really, said, oh my God, these guys are somebody. But again, they have to find somebody to feud with before they can get to the Shield and the Tag Team Championships.
And what a great way to make a statement than the former Tag Team Champions. It doesn't get any better than that. Yeah, they put themselves on the map versus the Shield. But again, like I said, to make a statement, you had to go against the former champions, and they did that. And,
I agree with that. You take out the former champions, it's all ball game from there, pretty much. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre was the next match. Again, Seth, I think he's at his peak right now, even though he's not the champion. I think he's the best he's ever been in his career. I feel like ever since he came back from the injury, he's just skyrocketed up rather than, how sometimes you come back from an injury and you're still trying to get used to things and it takes you a while to kind of just get back into the flow. I feel like he immediately got it. He was immediately ready to go.
Yeah, and especially coming back from an injury, we all know that those are tough to come back from.
And at the very beginning, if you go back and pay attention to when he first came back, he would be so protective of his knee. Now I feel like he's let it go. I feel like he's a little more loose. It still does scare me when he, does the little things here and there, and I'm just like, ooh, Seth, don't. But, I'm happy to see that he's going in a great path. Hopefully, the Universal Championship soon or WWE Championship, depending.
Yeah, he's been building a lot of momentum. Hopefully he gets a Universal title championship opportunity, which, like you said, I think he deserves. He's been doing a great job with the Intercontinental title. And, what other partner to put him against in this than McIntyre? McIntyre, we know, had a great run down in NXT. And, he's also championship material. Potential to face Roman for the Universal title.
Drew McIntyre, yes, I do. I have to agree with that. He's had an incredible journey on the main roster so far. I think it was brilliant that they partnered him with Dolph Ziggler, somebody who always gives more than 100, who always performs, whose matches are always good. Drew McIntyre, so far, from what I've seen, in my personal opinion, I don't think he's had a bad match at all being on the main roster. I think all his matches have been extremely excellent, 100%, and I do feel like he deserves the title opportunity.
Yeah. Same thing, he delivered in this match, no doubt, with Seth Rollins. It was a fast-paced match, too, but also the McIntyre's power made the difference. And, again, going back to the Shield and McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, McIntyre pulled off the win because Dolph Ziggler got involved in the match. Well, he kind of didn't get involved. He just came out, distracted Seth Rollins. And then...
That's how he was able to beat him, basically.
Yeah. So, and that's where we're going. That's why the feud against the Shield hasn't been what we expected.
Yeah, because they're everywhere. Literally, he came out in this match, and you're just like, oh my God, here comes Dolph. And then you immediately know that the moment Dolph comes out, the rest of the Shield is going to come out.
Yeah.
And obviously Strowman is going to come out.
But don't get me wrong, I like what they did, putting Seth and McIntyre in a match together. Like you said, I think they delivered, and it was something new, and I really like that because like they're two of the top stars right now, and I mean the match was great for me. I think this was probably the best match of the night for me.
For you? I mean, I guess, yeah, I can agree with that. It wasn't bad, you know. All of these matches were decent. They were all pretty good. This was a really good Raw overall. Again, this was a physical battle. We know the strength, the power that Drew McIntyre has. I feel like the Tag Team Championship is really going to take his career to another level, and it's going to show and it's going to prove if he's ready for the Universal Championship.
Yeah, I think he's ready, but WWE has to take his time with them and take it slowly, not take it too fast, and just give him the title. He's proven himself so far, but it's still a long way. Definitely
do not rush it. Keep it how it's going. Keep it slow. Obviously, before he gets to the top, he's going to have to get rid of Ziggler eventually. Yeah. And that's a feud I'm looking forward to because right now it looks like those two are brothers.
Yeah. I mean, they're getting along just perfectly. They're on the same page. And, again, they're extremely dangerous right now.
And we know Dolph Ziggler is the brains, and McIntyre shows up, and he's the physical one, the brutal one, the one that gets business done.
Well, yeah, he's the game changer, no doubt about it.
Exactly. All right, let's get into Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens. Again, Lashley, we've seen him over the last couple of weeks. He's just kind of floating around. This match was basically created to promote the Super Showdown, Lashley and Cena versus Kevin and Elias. Kevin Owens had Elias at his corner. Bobby Lashley, he didn't have John Cena at his corner, but he had Lio Rush, who's now playing the role of his manager down in the main roster.
I think partnering him with Lio Rush, it's a great idea. Just because Lio Rush has the mic skills to that Bobby Lashley really doesn't have. He really doesn't have a lot of great mic skills on.
In his own personal opinion. Now, Lio Rush, he's hype on the mic. He starts talking, you're kind of like, dude, this guy's talking. But then you start paying attention because he's super hype. He knows what he's doing. He believes in Bobby Lashley. And hey, Bobby Lashley is there to back up whatever Lio Rush has to say.
Yeah, I like where this is going so far with Bobby Lashley. Hopefully this is what he needs in his WWE career.
And, you know, obviously, Kevin Owens, he's a genius. He's incredibly talented, has a lot of skill. That man, I can't say he's at his peak because no matter what, he's always at his peak. He always has an incredible match. His athleticism, we've talked about it before. It's incredible. It's over the top.
And he's impressed me since I've seen him. Keep in mind, I didn't follow him as much in NXT. Reason is I kind of don't watch NXT, so that way when the superstars make their jump to the main roster, I could get how can I say it? I could get surprised by them, you know, because if I already see what they could offer in NXT.
Like somebody he's been following a lot is Ciampa, right? He knows exactly who Tommaso Ciampa is. He knows what Tommaso Ciampa can do. He knows he's smart. He knows the level he's willing to go to. When he sees him at the main roster, Armando's going to be expecting the exact same team, the exact same thing, or even more, right? And when he doesn't get it, he's going to be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have followed him as I did down in NXT. That's basically what he's trying to say. So when somebody gets called up, somebody like Kevin Owens, when he first came up, Armando didn't know what to expect. Armando didn't know what Kevin Owens could bring to a table till now. And now he's like, wow, this guy, elite talent. Yeah. Incredible.
And so far he's impressed me. Like I said, if I probably would have followed him down in NXT, which I'm sure he had great matches from what I see in the main roster. I mean, he's impressed me. He impressed me when he debuted against John Cena, which I believe that's who he debuted with.
Yeah.
So he's impressed me since then, The guy is just super smart, super talented, and he's just always a step ahead of everybody.
He's the full package. He has the microphone skills. He can wrestle. He's brilliant. He's willing to take the risks to perform at the level that he wants to perform.
And not only that, he can carry anybody that he partners with.
Exactly. When he was with Jericho, yeah, Jericho was doing a fantastic job in carrying him, but Kevin Owens did a lot of the getting them to talk about, the best friends that they are.
Yeah.
He plays a huge role in everything that he does. And a lot of people may say he's cocky, but damn, he deserves to be cocky because he can back it up. He's good in the microphone, like I just said it, and he can wrestle.
He's one of the... To me, there's 3 guys that are... You can consider heels and have great mic skills right now. Obviously, The Miz. I would throw Elias there, and I would throw Kevin Owens. Those for me are the 3 that have the great mic skills and always get the crowd to do what they want.
And having great mic skills, and I agree with the list that you just gave, but having great mic skills gives you a different reaction from your audience. It gives you a different connection with them because you can insult them or you can praise them. And if you're good on the mic, that's how you get the reaction.
And following on the reaction, Elias insulted
the NBA team.
The NBA team of Seattle, which I don't know if they have a team. I believe they don't. Again, I don't follow a lot of basketball, so don't. If I make a mistake on this, don't
bash him. Yeah. Just correct him. Tell him what he did wrong.
So I believe they don't have a team there, and he said, mentioned the NBA team there, and the crowd went bananas. They just completely booed him for like 5 minutes straight. They even turned on the lights.
Which is rare. You never see that with the lights.
Exactly, which is rare. So they turn on the lights so you can see everybody on their feet booing Elias. I mean, Elias and Kevin Owens both had to literally shout in order for them to talk so we could hear them because that's how bad the boos were. And
remember, you get the reaction that you want. You're doing your job. Yeah. He's a heel. He's getting booed. What else do you want? The man is fantastic. The match overall was pretty good. I like the match. I do want to see more from both these superstars, see where they can go, see what they can do.
Unlike Chad Gabriel and Bobby Roode, Kevin Owens and Elias is a great tag team that so far they're getting along, and there's a storyline going with this.
And they're on the same page. Again, the little things. And so far, we haven't seen that. So far, their mic skills, like you said, are on point. They get along super, super great, and they're both talented individuals. And I feel like their personas are kind of the same.
Yeah. Similarities, the same mentality, the way they think.
They're both smart men, too.
The way they act, and definitely, they're
okay.
Smartness.
Let's get into the main event, and I say this is the main event because this is the main event match. So it was Bayley versus Alicia Fox. Bayley came out with Finn Balor, and Alicia Fox came out with Jinder Mahal. Again, Alicia showing her experience. We know she's been there for a few years now. More than that, I want to say about 10 years now, over a decade. She has experience, and I'm really glad they're finally starting to use Alicia on a weekly basis.
Yeah, because there was a point where she didn't show up on TV for a while.
I think it might have been because she was injured, but even then, it's like she wasn't out there. Even if you're not doing anything, show up, do something. Yeah. It gets the crowd interested.
And I think it's great what they're doing with her. Partnering her up with Alexa, Mickie James. That's turned out great for her.
And then now Jinder Mahal, obviously, that's only because of the Mixed Match Challenge. But even then, they're finally doing something with Alicia. And I'm super glad that they are. Bayley, again, finally getting some TV time ever since Sasha got injured. She's kind of been sidelined. But now she's back out there getting rolling. It looks like she hasn't lost a step. None of these women have. The match was fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to see more of Bayley, see more of what she can do.
Me too. I think Bayley is one of those superstars that really hasn't had the opportunity that she deserves. Yeah, she was champion, but I feel that she could do more
than that. and have better feuds. Like, what she was doing with Sasha was fantastic. And then they decided to partner them up. The match was short, but overall it was good, and I do want to see more of both these superstars.
I would have to agree with you on that one.
Can't wait to see what they do with them. All right, now the main event, which was a segment where Shawn Michaels comes out. He's basically talking of how he's always going to be in Triple H's corner, and how he's always going to go to root for Triple H no matter what. Then, surprise, Kane and The Undertaker come out, and they basically start attacking Triple H. They start attacking Shawn Michaels, sorry. Botches happen. And then Triple H comes running down the ramp, and he goes after them as well. But the Brothers of Destruction came out successful. They choke slammed both Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I mean, excited to see this match once again. It should be a great match. I mean, they've delivered the past two matches that they had against each other. Again, Shawn Michaels being a part of this. Now they're involving Kane. You know, I don't know if this is going to be, a little teaser of having maybe DX versus the Brothers of Destruction.
It's going to be interesting to see definitely what goes on at the Super Showdown on Saturday. Again, they may be teasing towards something. I don't know. I'm not, a pro. But they may be going towards that angle. If not, I still enjoyed it because you had somebody like Shawn Michaels come out. You had Triple H come out, which he only comes out for, I think, like Survivor Series, Mania, and sometimes SummerSlam, depending.
Big events, big matches that he
the big four, basically, is when he decides to come out. And we have Undertaker and Kane. Can you complain? No, you can't. Because you have four of the greatest talents in the same ring all at once. I don't think Shawn Michaels is just going to take the choke slam and leave it at that. I think there's a little more to it. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens after Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. It's a must-watch match. We can't miss it. So
now let's get into SmackDown Live. Alright, Paige kicks off the show. She comes out, obviously, to address what happened last week with Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. For those of you that didn't watch, it was the contract signing last week, and Samoa Joe showed up to AJ Styles' house, and it was basically a cliffhanger. The door rings, and we didn't know what happened. She came out to explain that Show should have been fined. He should have been fired, that they pressed charges, and that there was just going to be no match at the Super Showdown. But then she went on to say that AJ said, no, don't fire him. No, don't fine him, and all this stuff. So he got to stay. And we are going to see the match at the Super Showdown.
Yeah, like I said, this has probably been the best feud in SmackDown so far.
One of the best ones.
One of the best ones.
SmackDown has
a lot of them.
Basically their entire card as good feud.
Yeah, I really like what they're going with this. And like I said, it's gotten personal. And this is going to make since it got personal, it's going to make the match even better.
It got to the point where AJ Styles couldn't even leave his house. He was live from his house. He said he wasn't leaving until he was sure that Samoa Joe was on a flight to Australia. So basically that's what ended up happening at the beginning of the show. Okay, the first match of the night, R-Truth and Carmella, Fabulous Truth, versus Andrade and Zelina Vega. Again, I have to say something, though. Carmella, I feel like she's really improved, and I feel like she's been improving week by week by week by week to where she was a year ago. She's completely at a whole new level. The smooth transition that she did when she made Zelina tap, the transition was so smooth. I just wanted to give a little props to Carmella before getting into the breakdown of the match.
Yeah, we've seen major improvement, and I think her cashing in and winning the SmackDown Women's title really elevated her career and brought her to a whole new level. I think that's what she needed, and right now she's at the top.
She's one of the top women.
Yeah.
When it comes to talent and microphone skills, she's up there. I see her improvement week by week by week. She's adding new moves. She's trying out new stuff. Trying to kind of figure out and balance what works for her and what doesn't.
And what other way to boost her confidence with someone like R-Truth? I mean, R-Truth he's funny. He's got, from what we've seen, great mic skills.
Incredible talent.
Incredible talent. So I think he's also going to help her elevate her career even more.
And the two of them have been getting along super well. We've seen them. She comes out to his song. Well, she comes out to her song, and then he comes out, and then, she'll do the whole what's up thing. And the best part of this match was dance break in the middle of the match.
Yeah, and sorry to interrupt, and it looks like she's having fun. And, I mean, when a WWE superstar has fun, their confidence is there. Their performance is always going to be great.
Exactly. And I feel like R-Truth has really been helping her out. But even before that, I feel like she was doing a fantastic job inside the ring with her mic skills and her in-ring ability. And again, haters going to hate, but she's there. She's doing what she has to, and she's doing a fantastic job. I'm glad Selena, though, is getting more ring time as well. Her and Andrade, again, we know they make a super well team. They're always on the same page. She has his back. He has hers. And we saw that in this match when, I think, what was it? Carmella was trying to pin her or something, and then Andrade came into the match, and he was like, no.
Yeah,
he kind of tried to back up Selena, even though I know he wasn't going to touch Carmella, but he still had like a little standoff with her.
Yeah, and I think Selena and Andrade have been great. I don't know why they didn't put them in the mixed tag match challenge. I think they would have been great. They would have been the team to watch.
I think because
they would have won it.
Well, maybe, but I just feel like right now they want to focus on other things with them rather than that. You know what I mean? The match itself was alright. Again, Andrade always delivers R-Truth, somebody that always brings something new to the table. He's super creative. Andrade, the athleticism. Again, here's the thing about these two men. They're both super creative, and they both can bring something new to the table like that.
Yeah, that's where creativity comes into play, and I'm always forward to seeing creativity.
New moves, new movesets.
Yeah.
Even new catchphrases, I'm all up for that too. Selena, she delivered as well. I don't know, I want to see what else they can do with Andrade and Selena, and what else they're going to do with the Fabulous Truth.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Hopefully it plays out good for both sides.
Okay, so let's get into a little segment, which was the New Day. They start cooking. Again, Big E has the championship. I'm telling you, it's not that it bothers me. I just find it super funny because every time I see him just wearing that title belt, I'm like, but Big E didn't win it. But it's a brotherhood, so I get it. It makes sense. I understand it's part of the storyline. I just find it hilarious.
Yeah, so we caught it since the beginning. We think it's funny. But again, it's the New Day. The New Day involves all three members, so the New Day is pretty much the tag team champions. It's not...
They're a brotherhood, basically, to put it that way. Alright, so they bring out Chef Mr. What is it? Booty Work, right? And he comes out, and he's going to make everybody pancakes, give everybody the recipe. We're finally going to know how they make these special pancakes that they keep throwing into the crowd. But then it all gets ruined.
By the bar.
Exactly. They come out, and they're like, nope. And even the poor chef guy got some batter thrown on his face and stuff. Come on, that's kind of messed up. I wanted to see how they could do those pancakes.
The secret formula.
Exactly. But giving a little bit of piggyback, I don't see the New Day losing the championships anytime soon. We know they're facing the Bar this Saturday at the Super Showdown.
Yeah, I don't see them losing anytime soon either. I thought it was their time. They've been proving themselves not only by winning the titles, but past matches and working their way up to the top of the tag team.
And they always have good matches.
Yeah.
Always. I feel like the tag team division in SmackDown always has fantastic matches. They're always stealing the show. No matter what tag team you're putting the other tag team up against, they have fantastic matches all the way around. So now let's get into Orton versus Ty Dillinger. Again, the match, it wasn't even a match. It never started, basically, because Ty didn't want to wait to get his hands on Orton because of what he did to him. So what does he do? He attacks him halfway as he's coming down the ramp. And he took a beating. At first, we were like, wow, Ty is really, giving Randy Orton a piece of himself. But then, what does he do? He goes up to the turnbuckle, right? And then he puts his finger against the metal that ties the pole to the turnbuckle.
Right in between the metal, I guess there's like a little hole. He puts the finger there and starts messing around with the finger, kind of like tortures it. I don't know if he broke it. Hopefully he did it. But it did look pretty bad.
Hey, but that shows people a lesson. You don't mess with Randy Orton.
Yeah, and this is a more aggressive side of Randy Orton that we've seen throughout his career. I mean, we've seen him do some bad things, but I think this is the more aggressive that we've seen him
in a while.
And like I said, I'm liking it. Another thing too that kind of went through my mind is he's been targeting all of Shinsuke's opponents.
Yeah, so it started off with Jeff Hardy, and then last week it was Ty Dillinger. So does this mean they're going to partner at some point, or does this mean he's eventually going to go up for the U.S. Championship? I can't trust Randy.
Yeah.
He's going to... Okay, so if he does partner... Let's say he does partner with Shinsuke Nakamura, right? He's eventually going to betray him, because he's going to want the U.S. Championship.
Yeah. I think what he's trying to do is trying to get rid of all of...
the possible opponents.
Yeah, all of Shinsuke Nakamura's opponents till he says, look, there's nobody left but for you to face me.
And if he says, I've gone through the entire roster, I think I deserve an opportunity, he's going to get it. So I do agree with everything you've just said.
And again, it's just something I'm throwing out there to all you guys. But, I mean, it's a coincidence. I think it's a coincidence that he's just attacking everybody's Shinsuke Nakamura's opponents that he's been facing lately.
And this is either going to lead to a feud or it's going to lead to a partnership and then a feud. Yeah. It's going to be one of the two.
Yeah.
And I want to see which one it's going to be. I think they can both do justice to each other's characters and to each other's, they can both put each other at a different level.
Yeah, especially for Shinsuke. We know he's super talented. He really hasn't had the run we expected here in the WWE. I think we expected more out of him as far as like getting, not the reaction, but
a bigger push than what he did. We've said it before. He won the Rumble, went on to Mania. He didn't even main event Mania. He didn't even win the championship, and he's kind of just been floating around lost since then. They gave him the U.S. Championship, and he's only defended it like once, twice, maybe?
I think twice.
Alright. Guys, we finally found out what happened in Milwaukee. So, Rusev and Lana, they come out. You can tell there's still kind of little awkwardness between them. And then Rusev tells Aiden, can you finally come out and let us know what happened in Milwaukee? So he comes out and he's like, I have video evidence. Basically, he says that Lana wasn't loyal, and he shows in the Titron some footage of him singing, preparing, for the show, and his song for Rusev Day, and then somebody knocks on his door, and then, sorry about that, somebody knocks on his door, and then it was Lana, and then she basically just says, I have to be honest, I want you. And that was basically it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of questionable, because you don't know what
exactly Lana wanted, because she could have, for all we know, she could have been like, hey, you can sing me a theme, or she wanted a surprise for Rusev or whatever. We didn't get the full footage.
Or I want you to be on my corner with Rusev, so, I mean, it got cut off halfway. We don't know exactly what happened. Again, Aiden English said there's more, but we'll see.
there's a lot of ways this storyline can go now. It can go so many different ways. It opens the door for so many different possibilities. And I can't wait to see what happens next week.
Yeah, and this feud, it's going to go for
a while.
For a while, too. So, again, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's a good one.
Okay. Shelton Benjamin, he's finally back on TV, and he faces none other than Daniel Bryan. Armando, talk to us a little bit about this match.
Yeah, Shelton Benjamin finally back on TV. Like I said, I've always liked Shelton Benjamin just because since he came out and debuted in WWE, he's been super athletic. I mean, in this match, he showed a level of aggression that he didn't show when he was with Chad Gabriel.
And he gave Daniel Bryan a match. He gave him a beating, and he was able to pin Daniel Bryan 1, 2, 3 clean.
And he made a statement, and I think this also had to do with The Miz, because before the match, The Miz was telling him that it's not fair that Shelton Benjamin was on the sideline
for so long
that he deserves better, that he should make a statement, and what other than against Daniel Bryan.
And yeah, I mean, Miz is right. If you want to prove yourself, I think.
Yeah.
Bryan is the guy, I guess, right now. He did give him a fantastic match. I feel like he was at a different level from where we last saw him, to be honest with you.
And I liked what he showed in the ring. Like I said, we all know he's super talented, but he really proved himself. And again, you could tell he was trying to prove a statement, but not only that, he was also trying to hurt Daniel Bryan, because The Miz was like, you should hurt Daniel Bryan.
And after the match, Miz attacks Daniel Bryan, skull-crushing finale, lets him lay there pretty much. Now, we'll say it here and then we'll make a prediction for the show. We'll make our show predictions in a later video, but I see Miz taking it home.
Yeah, me too. I don't see Daniel Bryan beating him right now, which if The Miz wins, it's going to lead him to be the number one contender for the WWE Championship.
There's other plans for Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to be a long process. It's going to be a long storyline. It's still going to continue to go for the next couple of months. But I'm glad Daniel Bryan put Shelton Benjamin over, gave new talent. Well, he is new because he just came back, but he's been wrestling for a really long time. He was in WWE before. I'm glad he gave him the opportunity.
Yeah, and hopefully it works out for Shelton, and we get to see more of him now.
All right, Asuka versus Peyton Royce. Peyton, incredible athleticism. We've seen what she can do. Asuka, on the other hand, incredible as well. I don't want to say they're both evenly matched, but I feel that Peyton and Asuka have the same speed type of thing. Like, it's complicated to explain, but they kind of work the same way when it comes to speed. Yeah. They can smoothly transition into something else if they have to, using, speed and stuff.
Yeah, they're evenly matched as far as speed and technical wise, but other than that, we know Asuka's a little bit better than her. She's got more years of experience, her run.
Comes from Japan. Incredible run down in NXT. We do know she was undefeated. The Iconics, I think over the last couple of months, they've done a pretty good job improving themselves.
Yeah, not only in mic skills, but in the ring. In my opinion, I think Peyton's a little bit better than Billie Kay, but Billie, she's
up there as well.
She's up there as well. She's improving week by week.
She's a good match with Peyton, to put it that way. You know what I mean? And I do want to see more of Asuka. I want to see what's next for her. I want to see what's next for the Iconics. Asuka, I don't know. I think it's interesting that they partnered her with Naomi. And I do want to see where these two are going to go next. It looks like they're going to be one of the top stars down in SmackDown in the women's division. Both have incredible speed and incredible talent. It seems like they both get along really, really well. It's still kind of an odd match just because I'm not used to seeing them together. But I like it. I like where they're going with it.
Yeah, me too, definitely on this one.
All right, now let's get into the main event. Well, that was basically the main event match. Again, the women have been main eventing in SmackDown. I think it's been 3 weeks now. Incredible. That's something I like to see personally because it gives the woman a different, vibe, I guess. All right. Becky is in the main event. This week she has a Super Showdown surprise. Basically, she has a poster out that was made. It's that iconic picture of her stepping on Charlotte, holding the championship, and she thinks the Super Showdown poster should be all about her.
Yeah, I guess feels that she hasn't gotten the spotlight ever since she's been the champion, because she hasn't had the magazine cover, and she hasn't had
interviews and all this stuff. Everything that goes along with being a champion, she hasn't had, and that's something Charlotte has. And she's still kind of jealous about that. She's still kind of mad that Charlotte has that and she doesn't. And Charlotte obviously comes out, interrupts, and then attacks her.
Yeah.
This has been one of the best feuds over the last couple of months. It's going to be super interesting to see where it leads to and how it goes. I do believe they have a match at the Super Showdown. I'm excited. I want to see. For those of you that don't know the times, I think it's Pacific time. It's at 2. I think it's 5 Eastern time.
Yeah.
And then whatever time it is for Australia. Sorry, guys. I don't know what time it is for Australia. And anything else you'd like to add before we close out the show?
It's just, I like what they're doing with Becky. She should just keep plugging away, and I think she's
on fire.
She's on fire right now. She's other than Alexa, she's probably the other top woman that's hot right now. That's selling a lot of merch. That's
popular.
Yeah,
and it's super cool because she's a heel, but you can't hate her.
Yeah,
she still gets cheered. She comes out, and people are like, "Yes, Becky Lynch."
Yeah, because I think that's what we've been wanting to see from Becky, and she deserved the title. She worked hard these past couple years. I think it was 2 years before she got the title again. She's
one of those heels that you just can't hate. Like I can name a few of them off the top of my head. Becky is one of them. Kevin Owens is one of them. Elias is one of them. Edge was one of those people. The Miz is one of those people. Seth, when he was a heel, was one of those people.
Yeah.
Again, a bunch of guys. I feel like Becky is at that level right now where she's a heel, but she's one of those heels that you just can't hate because she's so damn good.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully she keeps the heel character, whether or not she's champion or not. I think we want to see more of this side of Becky.
For sure. I have to agree with that. It's going to be interesting to see where they decide to go. Guys, that's all we have for you guys today on this episode of Wrestling with Siblings. Again, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let people know that Wrestling with Siblings is a new thing, that they're your favorite podcast, of course. If we're your favorite podcast, please let other people know. Tag us on your stuff. We like to hear new feedback. And again, I'm sorry if I got cut off at a couple of times. I'm sick. But, we still have to do the show for you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for all the love and support. Again, comment, subscribe, like,
share,
and one more thing that we're forgetting.
I didn't forget, but I was waiting for you to finish. For those of you that don't know what WWS stand for, Armando, what does WWS stand for?
Wrestling with Siblings. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you
next week. Actually, no, we'll see you before next week because we're going to do our predictions for the Super Showdown. So stay tuned on our channel. Those are coming to you guys pretty soon.